What's going on YouTube? OCD for EDC here. And what I got for your face balls today is another anodizing video. I've got a bunch of questions about it. And so here I'm going to do anodizing start to finish and talk about the items that I use. So once this video, or when you watch this video, check out the links in the description below. All of these items will be linked down there. So if you want to get an anodizing kit for yourself, feel free to do so. You will invest a little bit of money. It's not horribly expensive, but certainly a lot of fun to mess around with, and you can do some cool stuff. So, the one thing I'm not going to show you is the etching of the parts, just because that's a whole different. I'll make a whole different video showing that, and there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can etch the pieces. So you can sand them. I mean, you don't need anything special. You could just use sandpaper or emery cloth or Scotch-Brite. But then you can also use, a lot of people use Wink rust remover. That's a pretty nasty acid. So, if you don't want to do that, you can get a product called Multi-Etch from a company in Arizona. And I'll link in the description. I'll put a link up for that company. I can't remember what it's called exactly, but there's only one place in the US where you can buy Multi-Etch. And but like I said, you don't have to have that. I personally etch these components right here with Multi-Etch, but like I said, it's a little bit more involved. You got to heat it up, and there's a whole, so that'll be a different video. But let's just say that you have, right here, I've got two scales and I've got a pocket clip. They're just sitting in distilled water at this point, just to keep the oxide layer from forming. And I'm just going to run through all the items that you see here on the table. So first and foremost, you're going to need a power supply. You can do this with 9-volt batteries, but for as cheap as these power supplies are, I would just recommend getting a power supply. You can adjust and dial the voltage in for exactly what you want. It's way easier, and they're not that expensive. So, you start buying 20, 30 9-volt batteries, it gets pretty expensive buying all those batteries. Like I said, I would just buy the power supply. You can pick one of these up for anywhere between, depending on where you purchase it from, we'll say $65 to $100, depending on the one that you buy. So, power supply, you're gonna need some cleaning chemicals. So this here is Simple Green. This here is just straight up Windex. Both of these are straight; they're not mixed with anything. Just straight Simple Green, straight Windex. You're gonna need a lot of distilled water. So several gallons of distilled water. 1 gallon will probably get you through to do, if you're just doing one part, or one knife or whatever. But anyway, so definitely distilled water. And then here this is the bowl that I use for actually anodizing. And this is just a stainless steel kitchen bowl. It's nothing special. It's got a rubberized bottom on it. And this here is a piece of stainless steel foil. And I just use that to help conduct electricity. Now, I have bead blasted the inside of this bowl. That just increases the surface area, but that's not mandatory. You don't have to do that. And then a couple of tall containers, just because some knife scales are longer, and so I use these glasses that came from, I don't know how well you're going to see that, but they came from Dick's Last Resort. These were free when you bought a beer. So anyway, I had 2 of those. So I always use 2 of them. So you got like a pre-rinse and a rinse. And then what I have mixed up in here, this is equal parts TSP, which is a cleaner. A lot of people use this cleaner to clean walls and things like that before painting or applying drywall. So TSP cleaner and baking soda, just Arm & Hammer baking soda. So equal parts I've just got mixed in this container here, and just shake it up. And you can use one or the other. I've found that the color seems to be a little more vibrant and brighter if I use both together. So that's the way I do it. And then I've got just a plastic colander here. Nothing special. It had 2 handles on it. I cut one off just so it sits down in the bowl a little nicer. Basically, all this is doing is making sure that I don't touch the negative bowl here. So once you get this all put together, you're going to take your negative lead from your power supply and hook that to the bowl. And then your part is going to be the positive lead. And you don't want to arc that out and ground the circuit. So that's what that's for. You're also going to need some titanium wire for small parts. Like right here, I've got the pocket clip on some titanium wire. This here is just 18 gauge, 50 foot of titanium wire. You can buy this on Amazon. Like I said, I'll link all this in the description. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, rubber gloves. Definitely need some good rubber gloves. And then this here is a color chart. Shows you all the different colors that you're going to get at different voltages. You can find these from several different places, but I will link up in the description a starter kit that comes with a bunch of these things. They actually have a kit that comes with a power supply and everything. I think it's like $240 or something, or $250. So that'll be linked in the description, and that comes with basically everything you need. So if you're looking at all this stuff, $250 is about what it's going to cost you to buy all this and get started. So we're going to go ahead and mix up our solution here for the electrolyte or electrolytic or whatever you want to call it. So this here is just a gallon of distilled water, and I am just going to put enough water in the bowl here. This doesn't have to be, measured out to a T. I just do it by eye. I just want enough water in there to, give me enough room that I can get my parts in there with the colander and make sure they're fully submerged. So that looks about good right there. And then we're going to, this here, like I said, mixture TSP and baking soda, and we're gonna put like 4 big heaping tablespoons in there, just like that. And then stir this up, get this dissolved pretty well. And then once that's dissolved, you're pretty much ready to go. Prepping the parts is really the most important thing here. And so whether you're sanding or just using Scotch-Brite, or you're using some type of etching solution, whether it's the rust remover or the multi-etch, prepping is the most important thing. You can over prep the part, like especially if you're using an etching solution. The etching solution, actually erodes the surface of the titanium on a kind of a microscopic level. And if you leave it in the etching solution too long, you end up with a pitted surface, if you will. So it's actually, eroding away some titanium. So, you can certainly anodize a knife, a piece of titanium. I guess it doesn't have to be a knife, but any titanium, you can anodize it many, many times over. But eventually, especially if you're using some type of an etching solution, you're going to physically change the dimensions of the part. Now it's gonna take a long time. You're gonna have to, we're talking about very, 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 very small layers of titanium that you're peeling off every time. But if you do it enough, you're definitely going to end up changing the dimensions of the part. So here, that's mixed up pretty good. You can see there still is some chunks down on the bottom. That's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. So that solution is mixed up well enough. Oh, over here, I just have a shitty old white towel sitting there just to lay stuff on. Oh, before I put that in, so I take this foil and just stick that down in there, and then I fold it over the edge of the bowl like so, and then push my colander down in there, and then I want to hook up my negative lead to the bowl and the part just like that. And then we're going to turn on the power supply here. I don't know if you can see the numbers on there or not, but on my particular power supply, I have a coarse voltage adjustment, I have a fine voltage adjustment, a coarse amperage adjustment, and a fine amperage adjustment. So the amperage on this particular one, we're just going to run full tilt. They're just turned all the way up. And the knife that I am getting ready to anodize here is a ZT-0470. And I personally happen to like the way bronze and carbon fiber look together. And because this knife has a large carbon fiber inlay, there it is right there. It's kind of a marble carbon fiber. We're going to do this knife in a bronze. So I'm going to go, because I know already, but you can see right here on the voltage scale, light bronze is 12 volts, dark bronze is 15 volts. So we're going to go ahead and dial this thing in. On these lower voltages, I like to just set my power supply up at the voltage that I want and just start right there. On the higher voltage stuff, if you were going to go up into the 70, 80, 90, 100 volts, really anything over about 25 volts, then I slowly bring it up to that voltage. So I start at a low voltage and work my way up. But like I said, for 15 volts, we're going to have it already charged up and just bang it in there. I don't know how well you can see this, but right now I'm sitting at 14.4 volts. So I'm going to use the fine adjustment, and I'm going to get it up to 15. And just about there. Right there. 15 volts, right on the money. And so on my positive lead here, I've got, this is just a titanium, heavy gauge titanium rod, which I've bent this little hook on the end of it just so I can put through, a pivot hole or a body screw hole or whatever and go in the solution. This, I'm going to turn this a bit just so my cords aren't in the way. Now, after I anodize the part, I'm going to go straight to the Windex. So we'll anodize the piece and then put it right into the Windex. So we're set up at 15 volts. And actually, I'm going to throw another glove on. So definitely you want good rubber gloves. And if you've got big hands like me, generally you can't find them at the stores. You got to buy them somewhere else. So you can find them online. These here are actually a little bit tight for me, but I can get them on. And you can see here, these are the gloves that I use. They're 2XL, but sometimes it's hard to find 3XL gloves. I have found them a few times, but all right. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab one of the scales here. I overdid my water in the glass. It's got too much in there, but that's okay. It's just distilled water. So here's our scale, and I am going to, now this is DC power, so you don't have to worry, you can touch this. It's not going to shock you or anything like that. Now, if you touch it to the ground, you're going to get a spark for sure. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick this through the scale or the pivot hole just like that. And then we're going to go into the anodizing solution. So here we go. And then I'm going to hold it until my amperage goes down. I don't know if you can see that on the power supply. My amperage, I want to hold it until it goes down to 0 or 0.01, just to ensure that all parts of the scale is anodized. And I think I got the amperage turned up a little too high. Oh, there we go. Oop. All right, so there we go. We got our bronze color and right into the Windex. And then let me grab the other scale here. So as you can see, this happens really fast. Does not take very long at all. And the cool part about this is that you can strip the color back off. If you don't get the color that you're looking for, you can strip it off and go again. So here we go. Here's scale number 2. And we're going to go until that gets down. All right, we're at 0.01 amps. Looks good. So right into the Windex. And then this one here, because it's such a small part, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my little titanium bar out of there, and I'm going to hook it straight to this titanium wire. And here we go. All right. Oh, lost it off the wire there. Okay. So now all of our parts are anodized. They are all in the Windex there. So I'm going to move this off to the side. I'm going to turn my power supply off. Move that over to the side. So we got all of our parts now in the Windex, and I'm just going to kind of move them around here a bit. Actually, I'm going to take this. I use a toothbrush a lot for cleaning these parts and stuff. So I'm just going to brush them off very slightly with this toothbrush. It's just a soft bristled toothbrush. But the Windex works well. It just kind of seems to bring out the color pretty well. So here we go. And now I'm just going to put it on a piece of titanium wire and go into my final rinse right there. And then we'll pull them out here in just a moment, and I'll show you what they look like. But pretty simple process, you know, and like I said, you can get whatever color you're looking for. The one color you cannot get with this method of anodizing titanium is black. Black is not on the color scale, but you can certainly get, you know, all the blues, purples, you know, all those colors, gold and bronze, rose gold, yellow. There's a bunch of colors. So pretty cool, and certainly a lot of fun to play with. You know, you can do a lot with it, and I can't stress enough the really the most important part about this is the prep of the part. So sorry if that's crazy loud. So there we go. We've got a totally bronze anodized ZT 0470. And for those that aren't familiar with this knife, it has the like I said, the big carbon fiber inlay, but the hardware on it's all black, and the backspacer is black as well. So now I'm just gonna dry these parts off. And what I was going for was a real dark bronze color, and I'm pretty sure that we got it. But again, like I said, if you don't get it, it's not a huge deal to turn around and go again. All right, so indoor lighting doesn't do it a whole lot of justice, but we've got a beautiful, beautiful, really dark bronze there. Yeah, it looks really great. I'm really happy with that. And I will show you what it looks like with the carbon fiber insert in there. Hopefully you guys can see that. So super cool. I really like the anodizing. You know, it's a lot of fun to play around with. Here's the pocket clip. Actually, here. Probably doesn't help the orange gloves. Let me take the gloves off. And I'll grab a paper towel, set these pieces against a white background. That may help a little bit, but still a little moisture on there. But there you go. Trying to get it out of the shadows. And then here's the pocket clip. And there's the show side scale with the carbon just sitting in there. So really cool. Personally, I think it did a lot for this particular knife. It just makes it look really classy. You know, once I get this all put together with the blade in it and everything, it's going to look really, really nice. So yeah, if anyone's interested in this knife, this is one that I'm probably going to sell. I really just did the anodizing to turn around and sell it. So hit me up if you're interested. My email address and stuff will be in the description below, or you can just send me a message here. And then, or you can hit me up on Instagram, OCD for EDC. So there you go, guys. That's how I do anodizing. I know there's lots of different methods out there. Guys do their own thing, you know, and that's awesome. This is just the way that I do it. I'm not saying that I have all the answers or that I'm the best at it or anything like that. I do get good results. So I'm pretty happy with the way it's turned out. I just, you know, very recently started doing this, but I've been super happy with the way with the way things have been turning out. So, you know, and I also do, hold on a second. I should have had this ready to go, but like a dumbass, I didn't. But anyway, you know, I also do this style of anodizing, which is really, really difficult to get to show up on camera, but it's pretty beautiful. Definitely. Yeah, I don't even know if it's showing up on camera or not. I can't see the screen. So, but really cool. You know, just a completely different type of finish, totally different method. And I did post a video that shows this, but I get tons of questions about this style of anodizing all the time. And the number one most important thing about doing this type of anodizing is finish. Finish. You have to polish the hell out of these parts. And I get hit up all the time. People are asking me questions. Well, mine didn't turn out good. And they did not polish. And when I say polish, I'm talking mere polish. In some cases, it can take hours and hours of polishing this titanium to get it to turn out like this. So it's all about putting in the elbow grease, putting in the work. There's no easy way to get there. You know, literally I start with sandpaper and work my way up to a mirror polish, but the results are absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful, and I know, it's not for everyone, and I understand that. That's fine. To each their own. Everybody's got their own likes and dislikes. But if you do like this finish and you want to try to recreate it, like I said, I do have a video out there. I'll probably do some more videos on it because there's a lot. I've learned a ton messing around with this style of anodizing. But the biggest, most important tip that I can give you is it's just hard work. You got to get in there and get after it and polish the holy hell out of the titanium. So anyway, guys, that's what I got for your face balls today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully I went over a little better about what materials I use and all that. Like I said, links in the description for all the stuff that you see here. And it does cost a little bit of money, but it's nothing huge, I mean, we all spend more than that on knives for sure. So just think of it that you're buying a knife, and then you're gonna have the setup to customize all of your knives for forever. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to play around with, and it's something. This part of it, something you can I'm in my kitchen right now. Totally do it indoors. There's no harmful chemicals or anything here that is. You need to ventilate. The Simple Green and the Windex certainly has an odor, but it's, they're cleaners. Now, the etching part of it, that's a little different situation. There are some chemicals involved there, but like I said, you don't have to do those etching solutions. You can use Scotch-Brite or emery cloth or sandpaper and just, physically remove that oxide layer. So that's something that I do quite often, actually, just depending on the finish that I'm trying to go for and the way I want it to turn out. Here this was the type of finish that I wanted. Something that's really durable, really robust, and you can see here there's still some moisture in there, but you can see the weight relieving on this knife. This is a really, really nice knife, and this one here was basically, it was brand new. I mean, you couldn't tell it. The pocket clip did not have one scuff on it, so I don't think it was ever carried. I'm the second owner of this knife, but it was new in box. I mean, I got all the box and paperwork and everything. So honestly, the first thing that ever happened to this knife was that I just tore it apart to anodize it. So if anyone's interested in a ZTO 470 that is bronze, hit me up, because I've got one, and it's going to be beautiful. All right, guys. That's all I got. Thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will catch you next time.